Hello there, and welcome to another edition of the Husker Online Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sippel, Robin Washad, and gentlemen, it is Husker Games Week. Woo! Let's go.
Come on now. I'm back to calling it the spring.
As that's where we start the opening discussion, opening headlines here as we get closer to Saturday and kind of what this is going to be. You know, initially it was going to be kind of more of a Sooner Combine or Pro Day festival. Now though, it is going to resemble more of a spring game, just maybe not featuring some of the key notable Husker players that are starters, with some of the Pro Bowl type elements like skill competitions, the wing eating contest.
Yeah. I'm starting to think this might work.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think maybe they're on to something, although it doesn't really matter because you think in 2 years there's going to be spring football. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the way it's set up now, I like it. I've come around full, we'll say 180, I guess. I like it. I mean,
you would like to at least get a glimpse of the quote unquote top groups, because there's a lot of players that nobody's ever seen in a Nebraska uniform before. Right. You'd like to see them, even if it's a drive or two drives, like just be able to get a glimpse of what that picture looks like. But I get it. You know, the situations are what they are, the circumstances, you know, everybody's kind of dealing with it right now, and it's only going to get worse once that 105 becomes a hard 105. But I agree with you. For what the situation is right now, I think that Nebraska did a really good job of, for one, doing some creative things, finding different elements to incorporate into the quote unquote spring game day, while also still having a semblance of football. And what I really like, the idea is there's going to be a bunch of dudes in this scrimmage that this will probably be their last time ever wearing a Nebraska uniform. And the opportunity to have that stage, even if it is, you know, a bunch of, you know, second and third stringers by the end of it, that's still a chance to get out there and live at least a fraction of your dream that guys have worked really hard to try to have.
It won't be a bunch of second and third teamers by the end of it. It's going to be all second and third teams the whole time through this thing. You're not going to see anything but those players. I still think the elephant in the room, though, is will people come?
Yeah.
You know, like we don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and in years past, when it was a traditional spring game that had that ticket drop on signing day in February, and they're like 30,000 or 40,000 tickets were sold on the first day. Like we haven't heard any numbers, which, you know, generally tells you things aren't great. Like we never heard sale numbers for the Pinstripe Bowl either, because it was a hard trip to make. You know, Nebraska's not just going to give you numbers probably if they're not good.
No, you're right. You just poured cold water on me a little bit there. I'm
the negative guy all of a sudden. I'm not being negative. I'm just
no, you're not
preparing us for probably what it's gonna be.
Here we got really good news in the form of, I mean, just we're going to discuss players we're going to watch. Sean, don't worry, I'm not going to hijack that discussion. But we do get to see TJ Lateef, and we do get to see Marcus Davila.
Mm-hmm.
That alone to me.
All right, hold that though, because that's our next segment.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about other players. That alone to me is enticing. And then I think that Keith Mann has quietly, in a subtle manner, sort of helped the media part of it. Making Troy Dannon is available if you want to talk to him. You know, he's not going to be a press conference, but if you want to talk to him, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's going to be players available. Like all of that is okay. All right. If we can get Dannon, we can get a couple players. All of that looks pretty good. Plus, we're going to see 4 quarters of football.
Let me ask you this. Do you envision this being something that you'll watch from the press box, or are you going to be down there?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I get the sense you almost want to be down. Like if there's stuff going on, like
I think you want to be down there.
A wing eating contest, or you're not going to be able to see it from the 6th level of the press box.
And you want to talk to Dannon? You probably want to be.
Sounds like the interviews are just probably going to be right on the sideline there. Probably
you want to be down, which is great because you can see the action down there. Before the Twitter took off, I was covering. You guys don't know this. I never really told people. I would cover the games on the sideline. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I loved
and just write down stuff.
Yeah, write down stuff because you didn't have to write on the fly back then, and you saw a lot and heard a lot. You saw a lot more and heard a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what's interesting too is that this is like a 12+ hour day Like the tours, the Osborne Complex tours start at 8 a.m.
You be there, Rob.
Yeah, I'm going to be there for all of it. And then it ends with a volleyball match that doesn't start till 7. So
You can help Abby.
yeah, Abby and I will take care of it. You guys just do your thing. But like, that's what I'm wondering too about the crowd. Like, it might not be representative just with who's in the stadium for the football part, because there's gonna be people that just, you know what, I got stuff to do on a Saturday. I'm going to the volleyball match in the night, or I'm going to the soccer match at 4:30, or you know what, I'm gonna do the equipment sale and see if I can't get some Husker stuff, and then I'm gonna come back for whatever. So like, that's where like I would hesitate to like say, all right, well, these are the number of what's in the Memorial Stadium bleachers. That's how many people turned out for this thing, just because it is so spread out and there's so many different things going on throughout the day.
Well, you might have just identified a tactical error on Nebraska's point. They maybe it should have been
too
more
much
Memorial Stadium football centric to draw the energy to that, instead of trying all these things outside that would attract. Because let's face it, a lot of people, they can't commit that much time.
The food trucks.
Keep in mind that they had most of this scheduled before Matt Rule decided to do a scrimmage.
Yeah,
so like before, it was just going to be like a bunch of like, you know, quarterback skills contests. Like, all right, is that going to draw people? But no, they're actually doing football. Yeah, I agree with you. Now, had that been the plan all the way along, they probably would have done a little different.
There's also a silent auction that they announced, and there's an event at the Bob Devaney Center. It's a formal event, the Champions Benefit, and that is on Friday night. But there's some pretty unique like auction items. Like you can do 18 holes of golf with Fred Hoiberg at Arbor Links.
You're kidding.
Buyer beware. He's a shark.
Is he?
Yeah.
Fred?
Yeah.
Ooh, dinner with Dana Holgerson plus. Right now it's at $460.
That's a steal. That's a steal.
We might just pay for it just so we get I'll get the column out of it.
Pick that up. I'll go half seat.
We're in.
Wow.
Enjoy dinner with Coach Mike Eckler.
Just sipping Dana.
Oh God, that would be awesome. The Eckler would be good.
Yeah, I mean, you can also get a single game suite to a volleyball game, a wrestling event, a football event. The volleyball suite is already up to $4,450.
This is starting to pick up steam.
Well, this is like the VIP, but it's open. Like I if you're a ticket holder, you receive this email. But lots of cool items on this, silent auction, like the 2006 NCAA Volleyball Final Four tournament team bench signed seat by Coach Cook and Danny Busman. They're on the coaching staff together. There's some really cool items, but yeah, good job. We need to make maybe that lunch or dinner with Dana Holgerson happen.
That'd be very.
Where would you take him?
Well, I'd go to Ruhlman's in Ashland. Take him out of town. Take him to that steakhouse in Ashland.
Okay,
that's what I do. Get him out of town. It's just right down Highway 6.
They probably picked the restaurant, and something tells me it'll be like one of the Pede restaurants or something.
That'd be fine.
Something like
that'd be 100% fine. But I'd just like to get him out of town. Maybe it'd be less like eyes on you. Fewer.
Dinner with Fred Hoiberg is at $480.
That'd be fun.
Is it dinner or golf or both?
There's a golf event and a dinner with Fred. And all this has been released ahead of time. The actual event is going to bring in a lot more bidders. But this is like kind of where things have started at.
These are good ideas.
So yeah, give Dannon credit. They're doing things that we've not seen before. The equipment sale, the auction stuff. I mean, they pulled out all the stops. Now, can the football part deliver?
Yeah, I know.
You just take it for what it is. I mean, it's second and third string guys. Like, it's not going to be the most elite level football, but guess what? The opportunity, like, those guys are going to be playing like it's a real game. And so that the meaning for them, I think, will elevate just the kind of the vibe around that scrimmage part of it.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about players that we want to see in this event. It's a little asterisk as far as lower level players that, you will maybe get our first and maybe only glimpse in some cases of some of these guys for the entire year, as they may not be players we see on the field in the fall. But we'll hit on that next. You're listening here to the Husker Online Show. And we're back here on the Husker Online Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washut. Before we get into some discussion on what we're going to see on Saturday, this segment of the Husker Online Show brought to you by BetterHelp. And look, life is busy. Life is stressful. You've got a lot going on, and sometimes it gets to you, and you might just need somebody to talk to to help you through some of those day-to-day struggles that you might be battling. And there's no better way to do that than therapy. And I want to tell you about BetterHelp. If you're not familiar with BetterHelp, they make it easy for you. They've got thousands and thousands of therapists, and they match you up with the right one that's going to fit maybe what you're dealing with, some of the things that you're dealing with. And most importantly, they come to you. You pick the time, and you do it on the day you want, and you do it right from your own home on your own device, whether it's a computer or your phone, versus having to go somewhere, set up an appointment, leave work. They make it easy to deal with something that's very important. And if you've never tried BetterHelp, we got a great deal with Husker Online. They're going to give you 10% off your first month. Just go to betterhelp.com/Husker. Again, that's betterhelp.com/Husker to get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring us here on the Husker Online show. But let's get into Saturday. And you teased this already, Sip, but you're really interested in the two quarterbacks, TJ Lateef and
Marcos Davila. But there's a lot of other players.
Like Connor Booth's one that I like.
Hello.
I think we're gonna get a good
one.
Taste of Connor Booth.
Yeah, we don't know if we're going to see Jamarian Parker. It'd be great if we did.
I mean, what about Mekhi Nelson? Will he be a guy that plays? I would hope, but maybe
think so. If twos and threes are playing, why wouldn't he?
But but Jaylen Grahamstead's not. So it's
but
lower.
Grahamstead's two. I mean, Nelson's three.
It's the lower twos.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think you might see Mekhi Nelson. This is worth covering. Okay. It is worth covering.
Mm-hmm.
How about, I'll give you a name that would interest you. Sean, you should be really interested in these two names because we saw these guys at camps in Texas. How about David Hufkin?
Hoofkin.
How about David? Say it.
Hoofkin.
Say it.
Hoofkin.
Hoofkin. Sean, bring it. How about Braylon Prude? We see some Braylon Prude. I've never seen Braylon Prude play. I was there when they offered him. Sean was there when we offered him.
Well, even
Nebraska.
Sam Sledge and Mache Chalk and some of these guys that make some sense. I mean, that we haven't seen play.
Braylon Prude's a big, rangy safety, and I mean big.
Mm-hmm.
And
he traveled last year for a game or two.
Okay, so we might see some Braylon Prude.
Pick a wide receiver.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, sure, you take the top guys out, but there's like 7 other dudes that you could see potentially playing or even starting.
Give me some names.
Okay. Well, Cortez Mills and Mosey even play in this. I don't know if we'll see them.
I don't know. But even then, you
Quinn
get
Clark,
Smith, Bell, who else?
Jaden
Doss.
Bell's hurt.
Okay.
Jaden
Doss.
Oh, that'd be great. I mean, what a day for Jaden Doss.
Roman Mangini. You'll see a lot of Roman Mangini.
I mean, what a day for a guy like Jaden Doss who's been injured. This is almost like a huge moment for him. It could be.
Yeah.
Out in front of a crowd. Oh, this has turned out to be interesting to me. Let's face it, even if they were playing the starters, you'd be interested in these guys that we're talking about. You'd want to see them too.
Well, in the roster, as it sizes down over time, you wonder like a year from now, what will this discussion be like? Well, can they even do this? Because they're going to be down probably 20 more players than they are right now.
You can still do it, though.
If you want to. Michigan did it. I mean, Michigan played.
Colorado did it.
Bryce Underwood threw 26 passes in Michigan's spring game.
Oregon's doing it. Sean, Oregon's live scrimmage full tackle.
The Dave Portnoy purchased Bryce Underwood. The 5-star quarterback through 26 passes. So people are playing their starters. I listened to Dan Lanning on an interview yesterday, and Oregon is playing everybody.
Right, live.
Like they're doing a live to the game, and they're not holding back. And
they're tackling to the ground.
And Dan Lanning was excited about it. And he goes, "That's how we do it."
Yeah. Well, Nebraska. Now here's the question we don't know: is Nebraska tackling its quarterbacks to the ground?
I don't know. I would doubt it.
Well,
when was the last time they did?
Couldn't you tackle your third, fourth string guys to the ground?
Yeah, if your job depended on it as a player to make this team, you don't want to get.
They made Harburg live not too long ago, a year or two ago, because they wanted he's a runner. So how are you going to showcase yourself if you're not running?
Yeah. What would be the harm in making TJ Lateef live? Marcos Davila live? I don't see any harm in it. Your top two guys are watching. Dylan Raiola and Jaylen Grahamstead are watching. So why not? You can have your guys tackled, right?
Yeah.
The rise of Grahamstead has been kind of a good story this spring. 'Cause I still don't think everybody was 100% sure he'd be the backup, but he is.
The defined number 2, evidently, because rules said he will participate in the skills competition, but he will not scrimmage.
And a year ago, he was at Northwestern in Iowa going through spring ball.
Oh, he's legit number 2. It's not over. I mean, I'm sure that can change in August if one of these other guys, namely Latif and or Marcus Davila, got rolling. And I suppose Bodie Sukup and Luke Longball, you got to give them their due too. And we'll see a lot of those guys. But yeah, no, there's a lot of guys. We named some good ones that I'm legit interested in. Like, I would like to see what Quinn Clark has.
Mhm.
What? Because Jeremiah Jones?
He's not here.
Oh, Sean gets bad when I do that.
Come on, Sipple. You think we wouldn't? I mean, we noticed he was here. He's 6'5", 200 pounds.
You should have seen the disappointment look he gave me.
Well, there's 7 that aren't here. He's one of the 7
like
that's
this.
not here.
It's just
He's not here.
any of those defensive backs too. I mean,
Which ones?
They're loaded. I mean, any of the redshirt freshmen.
Oh,
They're loaded with the numbers. I wouldn't say they're loaded.
Yes,
Wow.
they're got young, promising young players that are going to play. So it'd be fun to watch them.
Oh, yeah.
Like Jeremiah Charles, I would imagine gets in there. Bly Hill.
Once again, Bly Hill was a guy that was going to be a starter
Mm-hmm.
going into
Do the
last spring.
transfers Justin Redd and Andrew Marshall get out there?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Amari Sanders, is he a starter? Or, I mean, and then DeAndre Barnes went in the portal, which was a surprise to us.
Yeah.
Because it looked like he was on the right path.
We got decisions to make, guys, because a lot of this does bear watching, and it would not be nice in the press box because down low you're going to have to scramble a little bit to see numbers, right?
Mm-hmm. Gonna have to split some duties
Yeah.
when you got to be down there to catch punts too.
I know I don't have to be down.
They're pushing hard.
It's not happening. I've already made
Pretty much the media participation of the spring game is not what they want it to be unless Sipple's in it.
How about
Pretty much.
involving younger people as
The
opposed to
issue
a
is-
58-year-old man?
Here's the issue. A lot of the younger people in the media, they're not well known by like the fan base. Like that's probably
I don't want to be well known on a meme for the rest of my life.
What if they put it on the jumbo? Like, attention, calling Stephen M. Sipple to the
I'll
field
wave to
for the media punt catch competition.
this is a nightmare.
And then everybody starts cheering. What are you going to do? Get booed?
Yes.
Mr. Sipple has declined the invitation.
Yes. I would just
The
have
event
to
is
take the
canceled.
booze. I just have to take the booze and understand it's a long-term play, Rob. It'd be a short,
Just imagine the memes that would come out of that.
it'd be a short-term. No. Would there be memes that come out of that?
Yeah, they take pictures of you like trying to catch the punt.
No, I'm talking about, but if I decline, there's no meme.
Oh yeah, they would. Well, there'd
Right.
be like video clips of people booing you with your name on the scoreboard.
This was it. Can't win.
will it be the punter punting it to you, or will it be like the
Sean,
machine?
what are you saying me? I'm not doing it.
Yeah. What if they told you about what you'll be doing on Saturday?
Sean or you is doing it in my place is what's happening.
I'm running like late. I mean,
You're not running late, and they're not going to do it till late. So you'll be perfect timing, Sean.
I'm just gonna go out there,
Just walk right
Be the-
in.
I have told Keith
be
Mann.
the town fool.
I have told Keith Mann that I am not doing it, but Sean has volunteered. So I think,
Or you catch the punt and it's like an amazing day and you're heralded for your
I'm just
athleticism.
gonna go like full Pac-Man Jones, or I'm like
Mhm.
like you know, like those guys that in the NFL Combine when they do the gauntlet and they just like
Yeah. They don't even like possess the catch. They like bat it down and it counts as a catch.
Sean, just wear a comfortable shirt and good shoes.
the issue is even if you
Cleats.
do a good job on something like this, it's still gonna look bad.
I know,
Like that's the issue. Like
Thank
you could catch it
right?
and do it, but it's still gonna look
You
bad.
still have some weird look on your face.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like
Oh.
if I learned how to dance at a high level
yeah.
and said we're gonna be on like dancing, like there was this fundraiser. I don't even know if they do it anymore, but it was called Dancing with the Omaha Stars.
Yeah.
And they asked me like 2 or 3 years to do it.
Uh huh.
And my wife's like, absolutely not.
Really?
No.
Because why?
Because like, it would just look terrible. I mean, it would just, and then they would really guilt you and say it all goes to a good cause. And
Yeah.
but
You don't want to help the kids?
Hey,
Yeah, that's what they said. I mean,
Sean, in effect, you're supporting my decision right now. You know that.
Yeah.
Right? Thank you. I appreciate
I do remember like Danny Noonan did it. And
Danny?
he was all ripped and he did a good job.
Of course he did.
See?
He was like,
He made the most of it.
Aaron Sorensen did it. I know she did it.
Thor
but
Tripp from Channel 7
Thor
back in the
won
day.
because
Yeah.
his mom was like a ballroom dancer instructor.
He was a ringer.
He's a ringer. Thor, what a dude.
Big Thor.
But even if you get good at something like that, it just still doesn't look good. But they're because you shouldn't be doing it.
Thank you. Anywho,
Anywho.
2:00 is what we're talking about.
And
You
so
can get there by 2.
I should be.
And they're going to break it up too. So they're going to do the first quarter, then there's going to be some events
Mhm.
after the first, between the second, then they'll stagger it. So it won't be just a continuous game. So you'll have time.
All right. When we come back, we're going to talk more about some of the rulings that are coming down and also the portal closing Friday. You're listening here to the Husker Online Show. Right here on the Husker Online Show, Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washett as this segment of the show brought to you by our friends at HelloFresh. Cooking is always not the easiest thing to do. Eating right is not the easiest thing to do. Having everything you need to cook. Well, HelloFresh does that all for you. They help you make it as easy as possible. They send you everything right to your house, the produce, the fruits, the spices, the meats, everything you need on an easy to follow recipe card. There's 40 different meals, 50 different meals per week that you're going to be able to pick from. And you pick the number you want. You say, hey, my wife and I just need 2 meals per week. They send you 2 meals per week for 2 people. You might have 4 people, 3 days a week, whatever the number is. They make it for you, and you pick the ones you want to do. You don't get sent meals that maybe aren't something you're going to be interested in. So they make it easy for you to eat right, cook right, and it's priced very, very reasonably for the service and what they provide for you. So if you've never tried HelloFresh, we've got a great deal. Not only are you going to get 10 free meals for the life of the item, you'll also get another free item as well by simply using the promo code HelloFresh.com/Husker10FM. And that 10FM stands for 10 free meals. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/Husker10FM to receive the 10 free meals and the other free items from HelloFresh. Give it a try. I promise you will love the service and everything HelloFresh is about. Thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring us here on the Husker Online Show. But guys, the portal closes Friday. Also on Friday, we could get a closure to the NCAA versus House settlement case. So it's going to be the ultimate kind of Friday news dump. You might have players going in the portal at the last minute, and you also are going to get maybe some more clarity on what this is going to be. And I think we already kind of know where it's going in terms of the roster limits of 105. And
yeah. What are you looking for here?
Just closure to it so we can move ahead.
Yeah.
Because right now, nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't.
Like they're all just reading Ross Dellinger essentially, and that's how they know.
Matt Rule literally said that in a press conference that I don't know any more than you guys know. I just read Ross Dellinger, who works for Yahoo,
and he lives in Washington D.C. as well, so he goes to everything out there for.
Well, the Claudia Wilkins in Oakland, California. So does he go across country?
Yeah, he does.
Does
I mean, I think he's kind of made himself the guy to cover all these issues. And it's. I mean, you're not covering football at that point. It's like you're a
court rulings, court reporter.
Yeah, it's the very big picture. So closure would be nice. Closure would certainly be nice for Matt Rule and Troy Dannon. They need some closure. And you're right. There's nothing like people ask us for answers. I always say, hey, listen, Troy Dannon can't answer that question right now. Why do you think Steve Sipple can? I mean, there's just a lot we don't know. I don't know that everything will be settled on Friday.
It has to be, though, because you have to give these kids, if you're going to size down these rosters, you've got to give them an opportunity. And if you don't, you're going to have to grandfather them in or compensate them properly for the disruption you're going to cause them. I mean, it is not right that Nebraska is going to have to tell 20 kids on this football team they're going to have to leave and destroy their futures and their lives because of some ruling that decided to put a roster limit on that nobody really can give you a good reason
but that's
why.
going to happen, right?
It is.
Yeah.
But
so it's inevitable.
But you've got to give them time. You can't just pull the rug out of them too late.
And you also need to get things in order before July 1st when the revenue sharing agreement in theory would take effect. So you get your roster figured out, you figure out what you're going to do with the people that aren't on your team, and then you got to figure out make sure every dollar and cent is accounted for and logged to where you're ready to go come July 1st. And then I think with this too, it also gives everybody an idea what the rules are. Right now, it's people just winging it right now. And basically you're spending money because you don't know if you're going to have it in a couple months. And then so you're getting these NIL deals that are based on money that you take it right here, right now, because it might not be here in a couple weeks. And so just being able to have a guideline for everybody to follow, like this is the rule, this is what we're going to be doing now. And then being able to adjust and follow that path where, again, right now, it's just kind of a free for all.
Is it, well, a final ruling and with some degree of guidelines in place, is that signal bad news for unscrupulous agents that are right now playing that game of this is before, we're get what you can now because it's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Agents that are taking 10 and 11%.
They're taking it over right now. It's
10 and
awful.
11%.
15, 20%.
15, 20. They're benefiting big time.
Big time.
We don't know who they are because they're not registered agents, a lot of them. So those guys, it's bad news for them.
It's like being a real estate agent where you
Good.
can just set the commission rates on the home sale. And these players are the homes. And they're priced at what a home is.
No, it's a good analogy, Sean.
And it's crazy. But Jimbo Fisher said this week,
What'd Jimbo say?
the schools that are going to be at an advantage are the collectives and markets that are connected to big businesses. Because then you're going to be able to, like in LA, if you have these big LA businesses as already a part of your collective, you're going to be able to create compensation packages that are going to be legit endorsements through those companies because of where you live. And that's going to be the separator.
Does Nebraska have that?
Well, they should. I mean, they have legit companies tied to 1890 already. And how are you going to be able to create those partnerships that you have with 1890 and wash them into legit NIL?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the game. The 20.5 million, everybody has that.
God,
How do you take the rest of your partnerships with your collective
and wash it
into legit NIL?
You know who would be a great general manager? Marty Bird. I mean, he is the king.
Like you're going to come up
laundering.
with like, hey, this Sid Dillon car dealership or this company is going to be they're going to have to create like NIL deals that are legit.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how you're going to pay your top players.
How much money are we talking about?
Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands for the top players.
Yeah, you're going to have to come up with millions more of these created collective deals that are going to pass the sniff test of this clearinghouse.
Right.
It's not like signing a football for 100K, like,
Right.
and saying, "Oh, that's NIL." You know, we're going to auction off. Like,
There's a clearinghouse now.
There actually has to be some sort of like legitimacy behind whatever your name, image, likeness is making money off of.
And how you have to convince like First National Bank of Omaha or Union Bank or Nelnet. You're going to convince these companies, hey, we're going to create these NIL opportunities that are going to be the separator because everybody's going to have 20 and a half.
What's in it for them?
Support of the program. And
I mean, it's money they were given anyway.
yeah, like it's money there, but you have to kind of reroute it.
And I guess now they get star quarterback to pump their company. So I guess there's probably more return on their investment than it is right now, where you're just writing a check saying, "Hey,
if
collective,
your
go
star
spend
quarterback's
it."
good and your program's good,
Yeah.
then there's some return.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
Yeah.
like 1890 will still oversee the housing deals. That will be like part of their things they can do. And they're going to oversee car deals, other things of that caliber.
You know what's an interesting question? Sorry to interrupt. We always talk about the clearinghouse. Who's on the clearinghouse?
I don't know.
Who
Does anybody know?
We always say clearinghouse. What is it? Who's on it?
Well, and how motivated are they
Nobody
going to
knows
be
that. Nobody knows
to
that.
say yes on things? Or is their nature going to always be no?
Right. Like, how strict are they going to be on this stuff?
Okay.
And is it going to be varying leeway depending on program, position, sport, all that sort of thing?
And if there's a no, that doesn't pass muster, then it just becomes under the table again. Are we just going back to
or you get attacked by lawyers?
Yeah. That's probably more likely.
very
these
healthy
days.
to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, everyone's going to have this 20 and a half, and you have to manage that properly. Football will probably get 15, give or take. Basketball get 3.5, give or take.
Wait, okay, now you've cut into it. There's only 2 million left now.
2 to 3 million left for volleyball and women's basketball. And then the other sport, like baseball and wrestling, my understanding is they're really not going to get much, if any,
Like 100,000?
that category.
Now they can still do NIL,
Right.
right? That's just not out of the rev share pool.
Right.
So they'll still have money, but not football, basketball money.
If you're Mark Manning, the wrestling coach, now he doesn't like to play this game very much, but let's just say you're a wrestling coach somewhere. You could play that NIL game as much as you want, right? I mean, you could.
They're doing a fundraiser with 1890 right now, like a match, like they're trying to raise 250.
Okay,
and a booster said we'll match 250.
250,000, so you get 500,000. See, that's what I mean. That could be very helpful to a program.
Oh yeah,
and they already are going to get 3 more scholarships, so they're going to go from 9.9 to 12.9. There's only 10 weight classes, so you're going to be able to have like everybody on full rides plus an additional 3 scholarships to divide up.
That's mammoth. Mark Manning has talked about the significance, and it's mammoth
because you can develop more players behind
Wrestlers.
your lineup. Yeah, wrestlers, sorry, players.
Jeremiah Jones, I'm already in the hot water, so I got to watch you.
I'm nowhere near that mistake. Like you mentioned the guy that you wanted to watch.
Wrestlers players.
You mentioned the guy you wanted to watch Saturday that's not even here.
I'm really looking forward to seeing him. Heard good things. He's flying around.
Damn it.
I want to watch Jeremiah.
All right, Sean, we got it. You don't need to do it.
I want to watch him too, but he's not here. That's a problem. Okay. When we come back, Abby Barmore will join the show. And as always, add sanity to the program. You're listening here to the Husker Online Show. And we're back here on the Husker Online Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washut, Abby Barmore. It's time for the mailbag. But before we get to that, this segment is brought to you by who, Steve Sipple?
Larsson Motors. We're talking car sales right now. So if you're looking for a new vehicle, and my God, it seems like a good time of year to do that. How about going for a new experience at Larsson Motors in Nebraska City? Get to Nebraska City. Larsson Motors is one of the Midwest's only dealerships with all the major brands in one location. Find your new Chevrolet, GMC, Hummer, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram never has been easier. How about starting your new experience today at LarsonMotorGroup.com, Larson with an O, or at Larsson Motors in Nebraska City. Larsson Motors, real people,
real
deals.
All right,
guys, good job. Say it with gusto.
Time for the mailbag. And Abby Barmore, where are you going to go first?
Okay, first one. Which position group are you most interested in seeing during the Husker games?
Go ahead, guys.
Receiver for me. I mean, the quarterbacks, yeah, just because there's 2 new guys that we haven't really watched much at all. But there's just so much potential in that wide receiver core, especially if the younger guys play, even if it's just a handful of snaps or series. I just really am curious about that room and some of the talent they have further down the depth chart.
This is a random one, but with John Hull having the quad injury, could Alvano resurface?
Yeah, he could. The answer is yes.
Because he was severely hurt as well and had a bad deal. I mean, it was a bad deal what he went through last year and kind of, I think, misdiagnosed and had to have surgery and just some things didn't go right that were out of his control. And could he make a comeback? Because I think they're both pretty good when they're healthy.
I think that's a good one. I'm really interested in the running back position. As Dana Holgerson said, you often get down to 3 and you often get down to 4. We've seen 5 at Nebraska, plenty. So I would think this is a big day for someone like Connor Booth. I have to think that his week it seems very important. Jamarian Parker's been hurt. I don't know if we'll see him. I have to think Mekhi Nelson is, if we see him, which I would think we will, it's got to be a big day for him. That's the position I'm looking at. Because I've read stuff where people say, I think they got good depth. I'm like, what world am I in there? I don't know that they have good depth there. I don't know till I see them.
Right.
And we haven't seen these guys. I want to see what it looks like.
All right, where are we going next?
How many quarterbacks do you think the Huskers will have on the 105?
Well, we know Grahamstead, Raiola, Davila, and Latif. That's 4. And then I think Sukup is probably. I think they'll keep at least 5.
But then they would have Sukup or Luke Longball.
Yeah, and it feels like Sukup. They like his demeanor, and I mean, you see him. He's running around with Dylan Raiola and Carter Nelson. He's like kind of a part of the posse, and his dad is a former high school coach at Blair. He makes sense. You don't hear enough about Longville. You don't hear a lot about him.
Longvall. He's from Sioux City.
He didn't make the fall camp last year either.
Maybe they all make it. Is there a chance?
Yeah, maybe they could.
Yeah, maybe would they keep 6 on a 105?
It's a lot.
That's what that is.
5
Pat
seems
Stewart question.
5 seems like a magic number.
Wait a second. Is that a Pat Stewart question or is that still a Matt Rule question?
I think it's the Matt Rule question.
Matt Rule kind of made it be known that it's still his football team.
He made it known in a big way.
He's like, hey, Pat Stewart works for me.
That's right.
I'm the head coach.
He said that to begin the discussion about Pat Stewart.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll go 5.
Okay.
Next question.
Next question. Who looks the most improved in physical growth this offseason?
I'll say Keona Davis.
Okay.
I mean, he went from 250, 255 to
270.
270, 275. I mean, he looked incredible. I thought Riley Van Poppel as well.
Oh, I'd say Van Poppel. Van Poppel, I don't know how to put it. He just became a man, kind of. I mean, he's impressive looking, and they like him. And I think he could be the guy that we start to think okay, this is another Ty quickly. Maybe not this year, but not.
Ty wasn't great as a sophomore.
No, he wasn't. So not too far down the road.
He was good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But he got his development was development. He wasn't even near what he was as a sophomore to what he was as a senior, if that makes sense. Go ahead, Rob. Who do you got?
I mean, there's a couple. Emmett Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks
big.
like closer to a Big Ten back. He's still a bit small, but his upper body. I mean, just look at his shoulders and his arms. I mean, that was back to the dunk contest. We're sitting we both looked at each other like, Emmett looks big.
Yeah. I didn't even know that was him when he came out.
I know. Heinrich Harburg. How about his transformation into a tight end body? I think that's been a good picture to follow. Elijah Judy. I think he's probably in the best shape of his life right now.
At 300. He went from 270 to 300.
Those are the guys that jump out to me.
Okay, next question. Which Husker in the 2025 NFL draft class is the most underrated in your opinion?
Depends how you want to define underrated. Go ahead, guys.
Isaac Gifford maybe is one. I think he wasn't all the way right, but I think he had a great pro day. He's got pedigree. His brother has a lot of respect in the league. I think he'll get into a team next year somewhere, on a practice squad. I do.
Okay.
Fedoni. I think, especially if you look at the rest of that tight end class, what outside of just production and injury history, which are 2 big red flags, but from just overall skill and athleticism, size, and all the pieces you're looking for in an NFL tight end, I mean, that's the ideal picture with his size and just the talent, the skill set that he has. I think that's going to put him a lot higher on people's boards than people are giving credit for.
I don't look at him as a sleeper, though. A guy that played in the Senior Bowl and was invited to the combine.
But who's talking about him? That's what I'm saying. There's not that many guys.
Well, and some of the people that talk about him are not talking fans. And Sean's addressed,
and I've addressed, and Rule took the same stance I've had on this. It just really wasn't right.
That's what I mean. I think more people should be having that opinion of Thomas Fedoni, that he is a surefire draft prospect.
Yeah, I thought. I mean, that's where I'd go, and I think Nash. I mean, the thing about Nash, I want to say Nash, but his production, there wasn't a lot of production. If you just look statistically,
he plays through double teams the whole game.
True.
That's what, if you watch the film, I mean, Ty Robinson had the numbers because they had to account for Nash. And if they tried to block him one-on-one, he was blowing plays up.
I mean, Nash intrigues me because of the work ethic factor, the athleticism factor. I think he's got the size. It depends how you want to play him. He's intriguing to me because he's such a great athlete, and he's always going to be a great. Come on, Nash is just showing up every day to work, every single day. And you know what? These guys that they got going are like that. Most of them, anyway.
And Rule was quick to point out they were all recruited by the previous staff.
That was a night. Rule doing that meant a lot to me.
Even Tommy Hill was a previous staff recruit.
Yeah. Because I've seen coaches do the opposite, where they kind of take credit for guys that the another coaching staff recruited. Rule right away said, "Listen, I want to make clear these were recruited by the other staff."
Isaiah Nayor would be the exception.
Yeah.
Jamal Banks.
But those other guys were recruited by the other staff.
All right.
Said that.
Final question.
What is the first movie you remember seeing in theaters?
I'll say E.T.
Okay.
It's
a good one.
Was one I can remember as a kid. I'm trying to remember on a Disney movie if like Smurfs or that's not a Disney movie, but like an animated movie. But I do remember watching Ferris Bueller's Day Off at a very young age.
Of course. Of course.
Okay, here we go. You want to quote it for a little while?
No, and Simple
Let's hear the
Act-
whole
Simple Act's
scene
like
when
it's
they're in the
not like a
restaurant.
well-known movie, but it was a pretty ahead of its time movie. I mean, it addressed mental health.
No, I know it's well known. I know it's.
You've never seen it though, which is shocking.
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I've never sat down to watch.
Mr. 80s over here has not seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I'm surprised.
Mr. 80s is what we're going with right now. What's yours, Rob?
So I don't even remember, but I'm sure there was others that I saw, but I don't remember them. So the one that I remember was Home Alone. I remember went with my dad, and we're both just laughing at all the guys just getting like gruesomely injured, and so like that memory of us just laughing at a guy taking an iron to the face or stepping on a nail or whatever, things that would probably kill someone, and we're just laughing about it, like, oh, look at that guy, he got burned by a torch in his face.
Home Alone.
Yeah, like that. That's
seen Home Alone.
That's a memory. Come on.
God dang it.
We need to have a movie marathon.
Never seen it.
I mean, come on.
What?
Like over a holiday with
Gosh.
family, that movie's not just been on.
Like
Probably.
there's been no Christmas where it's just on the TV.
Probably, but like some of those movies, I know what you're talking about, but I never settled into watch them.
Yeah.
Every time we walk through O'Hare Airport on that main terminal, I think about the movie Home Alone.
Really?
And in fact, when I walk in there with my daughters, we talk about it because this is
Yeah.
where Kevin was running right here.
I'll be damned. Oh, Columbus had a great thing when I was a kid. It was incredible. The downtown movie theater had matinees for kids. Well, I think they were for kids. And I saw I saw a lot of them, but the first thing I remember is Godzilla. And they were the real ones. They're the real.
I thought you were going to say Godfather.
No, Godzilla. And they were the real ones, like not the modernized. So I saw like Herbie's Love Bug on those matinees.
Would that have been like in the 60s or 70s?
70s.
It's that late 50s, early 60s.
Wow.
Was it black and white? Did they have color?
Did they have audio?
70s.
Did they have audio?
Silent film with a piano.
So funny.
Did you have a drive?
70s.
Did you guys have a drive-in theater in Council?
Yes.
We had one, and it was in Council Bluffs where I grew up, and that was a thing.
Oh, it was a thing in Columbus. Let me tell you, it was.
And they would show 3 movies.
Yeah, it was
Mhm.
beautiful.
But you rarely made it to the third. I mean, usually 2 was probably the tip out point.
It's a long time to sit in your car.
Well, we would have you'd bring like blankets and sleeping bags and kind of set up a little camp.
Sure.
I mean, you didn't really sit in your car.
I want to say, by the way, back to those matinees. I want to say they were $1. I think it was $1.
Better
You know,
times.
I can.
We had the Dollar Theater in South Omaha, the Cinemark
Yeah. We had the Starlight.
Dollar Theater.
In Havelock,
No, it was downtown.
downtown.
It's now been demolished.
We had a $16 theater dollar in South O, and it was
You had a
old,
what?
it was older movies that like weren't on main screen anymore.
$1 theater.
Yeah, Dollar Theater. But I mean, you just got destroyed in concessions. I mean, you paid $1 to overpay for popcorn, essentially. I mean, it
That's
was
all right. Fun times.
Mhm.
Good question,
Abby. What was your first movie?
I'm sure maybe there was more, but the one that I can really remember was High School Musical 3. It was the only High School Musical that was in theater, and we went for my birthday. It was like my mom took me
What birthday?
and some friends, probably like my 10th birthday.
Okay. fun.
That's
Makes you
the
feel really
first one
old.
that I remember.
Because my girls like to watch that movie now.
It's a great movie.
And
Getting up
Abby's
there. You're 44.
fan.
Robin's.
42.
Yeah, you guys are getting up there now.
Tell me about it.
Were your
we're
movies in
closing
black
in
and white?
58.
Pretty soon, people making old guy jokes about us. And we'll be right there with you.
Get ready.
When we come back, Portal window closed for basketball. We'll get Robin's thoughts on where things sit for Fred Hoiberg and the Huskers. You're listening here to the Husker Online Show. Final segment of the Husker Online Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washut. Before we get into some basketball talk, this segment of the Husker Online Show is brought to you by Rhoback. And you see this on my shirt there. I'm wearing a Rhoback polo shirt. I pulled that out the wrong way. It's a mirror. It's a mirror image here. So I was a little thrown off there. But high quality gear, and we've got a great deal with Husker Online on 3 going on right now. We're going to give you 20% off your order of Rhoback. It's polo shirts, workout gear, quarter zips, pants, shorts, you name it. Use the promo code Husker20 and you'll get 20% off your entire order of Rhoback. You spend a certain amount and you also get free shipping as well. So I got 3 items, 2 polos and a quarter zip. Awesome, high quality stuff. They even have Nebraska gear. They have some Nebraska gear as well. Go to the website again at Rhoback.com. Use the promo code Husker20 at checkout, and you'll get 20% off your entire order of Rhoback. It's not just for men, it's for women as well. Check them out. I love the gear. Wearing it right now, and highly recommend Rhoback.
Looks great, Sean.
Thanks, Steve. You're wearing Travis Matthew today, I see.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It
was a gift. It was a gift. I like it, though. Okay, what do we got, Rob?
We're going hoops. So portal closed, right, Robin?
Yes, as of Tuesday.
Portal's closed.
Portal's closed now. There's still guys that, like, if you turned your paperwork in like at the 11th hour, it takes a day or two to process. So you could still see names filtering out over the next, I guess, couple days this week. But the deadline has passed, which is good as far as like knowing kind of where your roster stands. You're not expecting any late departures. But even then, like with international guys, like that just means they can't transfer to another school. They can still go back and play somewhere, or like just there's all sorts of different scenarios where you could still have some form of roster attrition. Not saying Nebraska is going to have any of that, but just because the portal's closed, it doesn't solidify it, but at least gives you a pretty good idea of what they have to work with. And so now the attention turns to filling out the rest of the roster. They have 1 open scholarship, or I guess roster spot, potentially 2 if they need it. That's kind of the clarity I got on it last week.
Okay.
Fred Hoiberg mentioned that they have 2 roster spots, and I got some clarity on that. It's like they have 2 if they need them. So they have 1 open for sure, and if somebody comes around, right place, right time, and they need to create some space, like they feel like they have the ability to do that. So that's kind of what you're looking for is needs, and the athletic 4 is the clear priority with the 1 open spot they have for sure. They missed out on Ezra Asar, the Utah transfer, went to USC, who is really flashing that NIL budget. They're getting some big names. They lost Desmond Claude, who was probably their best player last year.
They lost their whole roster, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of the Musselman, the must bus, what you get with that, where you're going to get a lot of good players, but you're going to lose a lot of good players just with the way that they recruit and handle their roster. So as far as like names, like who's next after Ezra Asar, I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, it's hard. There's names that are out there, but not enough to where like I'm saying like this is a priority guy that they're looking at. And a lot of this has to do with, again, they've kept things pretty close to the vest as far as visits and guys they're talking to, because if word gets out, then another school can jump in and double the NIL offer, and then suddenly the guy's off the table. So they're trying to do things as much behind the scenes as possible. So it'll probably be one of those deals when a name surfaces, it'll probably be pretty close to a done deal at that point. So I don't know how much of a rush they're in, but that being said, if they want to get it done before the house settlement and all that sort of thing with whatever NIL budget they have that might not be there, once the money is kind of locked in, then that might be the only deadline they're facing right now.
April question. Where'd Desmond Claude go?
Nowhere yet. Florida's been sniffing around.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he's a stud.
Why would he leave there?
They brought in a bunch of
stupid question.
Because they brought in a bunch of guys. They're going to take his minutes and
take his minutes.
Maybe he didn't like it. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of fact. Maybe his agent told him, "Hey, you should test the market and double what you're making at USC," which is crazy. But who knows? Guys leave for a variety of reasons. But yes, I mean, he was one of the better players in the conference last year. And like Sean said, they lose pretty much everybody from a team that was right on the cusp for a while there of potentially making an NCAA tournament.
One player back, I think, is what I read.
Yeah, I don't know where the numbers are.
It's amazing you got all those guys to play in the Crown.
Yeah. And I wonder too, like with the crown,
The money.
like, yeah, the money was a factor involved, but then also like the opportunity to showcase yourself. Like, we talk about how spring games are like a showcase for the portal. Well, maybe the people viewed the crown in a similar vein.
That-
When you look at the amount of guys that played in the crown, then immediately hit the portal as soon as their team was done. Maybe that was kind of a de facto showcase event for some
And
players.
was it again, Robin, on the crown money? Was it $100,000 then plus $300,000
Total.
Yeah, so they got 400.
No, 300 total.
Somebody yesterday, a player that I ran into at a store, they were explaining it that it was 400. That was the first I heard somebody say it.
No. It's
player?
basically like you get the final payouts were 300 for the champion.
Okay.
What was it? 200 for the
Runner up.
runner up, and then 100 each for the other two semifinalists.
Divided, and for Nebraska,
Because it was a $500,000 purse.
there were 17 people. They divided it up.
Right.
17.
17 players on the roster.
Hey, generally speaking, is it just a kind of a wasteful question in this day and age to say, why did player X leave? It's just why, sometimes you just can't explain.
Right. I mean, again, sometimes they're just advised,
Yeah.
and whether or not that's good advice or not, ultimately that can lead to a decision. Look at Jamarcus Lawrence. Like, he left and kind of had to learn some hard lessons a little bit, that life isn't, or grass isn't always greener. And so he came back and I think has a new appreciation. So it's hard to say. I mean, playing time, role, portal additions that might change your potential spot in the rotation next season. And then, there's always the financial factor too. So there's a lot of reasons, and there's not like one
Right.
surefire, like, well, they're not happy here, or they're not using them right. Usually it's a lot more layered than that.
And Robin, you ran in. I saw you talking to Nick Jankowski.
Janowski.
God,
Yeah.
That's two, Sean.
That's kind of like the one, like probably the
Sorry,
most
Jeremiah.
unfortunate loss of the offseason, just because I think they were really high on his potential. He was a guy that probably could have helped him at point guard, but he also would play off the two. He's a good 3-point shooter, really physical defender on the perimeter. And so they were really looking forward to what he could be next year. But again, I think he probably kind of saw the situation that was going to be there. And then Cale Jacobson's rise, I think, had something to do with that too, where he was looking to, after sitting out a whole season, like, you want to come in and play, and have a significant role. Maybe that wasn't in his mind on the table for him at Nebraska, which, led him to maybe see if there was a different path he could take. But there's no burned bridges there. Like, there's no animosity on either side. Just kind of an unfortunate consequence of just the landscape of college athletics right now, where, like, you have a very short window to maximize your earning potential and your role, and no point sitting out and playing spot minutes here and there.
All right, nobody covers it better than Robin Washett with Nebraska basketball. Make sure you stay up to date at Husker Online, as Robin will keep you up to date on all the latest with the roster movement, as the portal's closed, but they're still definitely in the market for more players here over the coming days and weeks ahead. For Abby Barmore, Steve Sipple, Robin Washett, I'm Sean Callahan, signing off here for another edition of the Husker Online Show.